regardless of what you're going after, there's going to be challenges. It's going to be hard times, but just keep bouncing back and stay with it. It definitely play the long game.
You can be anything if only you believe and work towards it. Welcome to another inspiring episode of Podcast with SHEILA, the podcast that is spreading positivity around the world by sharing inspiring life experiences. Today's guest is a founder of ALA Public Relations, a boutique firm focused on amplifying the voices of service-based leaders who struggle to share their message. In today's episode, we are discussing her life journey as well as the services she renders to people. As usual, our aim is to motivate, inform, and inspire you. Hello, Angela, and welcome to Podcast with SHEILA.
Hi, Sheila. Thank you so much for inviting me on. I'm really excited to chat with you.
It's a pleasure to host you this afternoon, depending on wherever you are. Can we get to know you a bit more by sharing with us a brief background story of who Angela is, where she comes from, the basic background story before we set it rolling?
Yeah, so I am from St. Louis, Missouri in the United States.
Great.
And I grew up in an incredibly loving family. However, I am 6'1" tall. Oh, that's 185 centimeters.
Wow.
So I'm very tall, and I've been this tall since I was 12 years old, and I was a very uncomfortable kid. But I started playing basketball, and that's when things really shifted for me because I found community. And so my life has been playing sports and high school, college, and the professional level internationally, but more importantly, helping other people develop comfort in who they are, and then connecting and communicating in confident and clear ways.
Well, I like it. When you had said that you like to help other people develop confidence in who they are. My son is really tall for his age. He's just been a tall baby even when he was young. Now he is 9 years old, but he wears clothes for 12 years, 13 years old. And sometimes he asks me, "Mommy, am I tall?" And then I'll ask him, why do you ask that? He said, "People are telling me I'm too tall." I said, "You're unique. I have to find a way to make him feel comfortable." Say you are unique. But I come from a tall family. My little sister is very tall, just about your height. I'm tall, but not that tall. But my sister, how does it feel as a tall person, especially as a woman for that matter? What are some of the challenges or the things you've had to deal with for being who you are?
When I was younger, it was definitely harder because everyone else hasn't started growing yet. And so you're kind of waiting for them to catch up so that you can feel a bit more normal. Nevertheless, some of the challenges is just, we all have those days when we just want to hide and not have anyone to see us, and we just want to go about our day and really no one noticed that we're there. I can't ever do that. I can never just have those days because I'm always there are people who are always looking up at me, or you get those stares like, whoa, where did you come from? I'm living in Medellin, Colombia, in South America, and I'm significantly taller than most of the people I see every day. So some of it is just people staring at you and you're not really feeling comfortable with that.
I know that. Let's talk about your story. What led you to become the woman you are today?
My mom. Oh, my mother is incredible. She's 81 years old and she's so vibrant. But more importantly, she has incredible faith in God and a commitment to her family that has really helped me become who I am. And I think the other thing that's really unique about my mom is I'm 40 years old and she's never said anything negative to me in my life. It's such a blessing and a gift because even on my worst days, I can hear her voice saying, "You can do it. It's okay. You're special. You have the ability to make it happen. Stay with it. Believe in God," right? And so I carry that with me, and I try my best to give that to everyone that I encounter.
That's good. That's a good one there. I read, just from the story you had narrated, you had come from an athletic background now into business, and you were doing very well in athletes from what I read from your bio. Why did you shift from being an athlete to now a business person?
I shifted from sports to business because I actually started writing books for young women. And when I wrote those books, I had finished playing ball. I was already coaching, but I wanted to help young women and help people more with life. And so the way that my business came about is that I started doing all of the media outreach for myself to help promote the books and share the message of inspiring young women. And so it kind of happened organically. It wasn't something I said, oh, I want to own a PR agency. I just started doing it for myself, and then other people asked me if I could help them as well. And kind of here we are.
Wow. Let's talk about some of the challenges and the successes you encountered as an entrepreneur. I can imagine.
So one of the hardest things about being an entrepreneur is that you have to do everything, and every decision starts and ends with you.
Yeah.
And for example, I started with the PR services thinking that people wanted us to, reach out for them to be on shows, but sometimes people don't respond, hosts don't respond, and then the amount of time that I thought it would take us to make things happen, it actually takes longer.
Yeah.
So now I have to go back and adjust those expectations with clients. Clients leaving is a challenge. You think everything's going well, and you get an email or a call because they've had a disruption in their life, or they saw something else that they want to try. So that's challenging, but all of those little things makes us better.
Exactly. I resonate with you on all levels. As an entrepreneur, you find yourself doing so many things, and I think a number of times I've said it on this podcast, and I'll continue to say that whatever you find yourself doing at the moment, do it well. Because I remember years back, I had to learn to do graphic design. I am originally a textile designer. I had graduated from that textile field, but when I came out, I wanted to start a magazine for myself, and my graphic designer let me down badly. My marketing guys let me down badly. So I've had to learn how to do graphic design. I've had to learn how to do marketing. And years back, I'm talking about 10 years, maybe 13 years back, I had to learn how to do all these things. Today, I don't have to rely on anybody to do graphics for me, to do marketing for me. And if I'd had to wait on people to do it, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of things because I'm not ready to be paying that kind of money. You get what I mean? But with all the skills I have, I'm able to do so many things I would have given out to people to do for me that was going to cost me. So
that's such a good point.
Yeah. So I agree with you when you say you have to do so many things. It can be hectic sometimes, but when you look at the end result and all the things you've not had to pay for it, but you've been able to do professionally, then you are happy about all of that for yourself. So I'm happy you are putting that out now. How difficult or easy is it for one to live in a foreign country trying to build up a business? Is there a process you can share with us regarding this?
There's a process. The first part I would say is have community. So I'm in Medellin, Colombia, but I have friends who are like family who are here. And business is important, but we also need other people in our life. And the people who are my friends, who are like family that live here, we do business together and we help each other out. So you need community. So if you're going to go to another country, just make sure you're plugged in, whether it's to other entrepreneurs in the community or people that you already know. That's part one of the process. Part two, the beauty of being in another country for me is I don't have a lot of the distractions that I had back home. All the birthday parties, there's always something to do. Yeah. So I've been able to focus in ways that I know I never would have been able to focus. And then the third thing that I think makes this experience very rich is that you're learning about another culture, so it forces you to think differently, and it opens your mind in ways that it doesn't necessarily open when you're in the same place for an extended period of time. So find that community. It gives you that focus, and then also expand your thought process and get out and actually learn some things.
I like that, because I've also moved in from a comfort place, from a comfort zone to somewhere else, trying to do something new, start a business here, and it's difficult. But I resonate with you on all the points basically that you have raised, like start a community. But I also like to chip in that you have to be careful of the community you're starting or you're joining, because that can either make you or unmake you. For me, in my case, I've decided not to really start a community because it's not helped me. And growing up, and it's like a pattern. Sometimes when I sit down and I try to assess myself as a child growing up, I didn't have too much, but everybody who came into my life wanted to take from me. You get what I mean? And I realize it's something that is going on even till this day. I meet people who are very, very nice, and the next thing is to watch it, they're coming for something. And I keep meeting till date, not too long this week. So I would say that good, form a community, but be careful of the kind of community you form. And another thing I realize about communities is, for me here, I don't do too much of my community because the distractions are too much. And sometimes I feel I don't have the time for this, for that. I may look a bit odd. Sometimes I sit and ask myself, am I odd? But I don't think I am, because on the other hand, when I think about doing too much of a community thing, going to parties, going to this, I wouldn't have time to do the kind of things I do. When am I going to sit down to plan a business, to get it going, to do this? When I'm in a community and chatting away and dancing off, and you know what I mean when you get it.
I know what you mean exactly. And I'm glad you said that. For me, community is very small. It's like a handful of people, like five to seven people who I consider like in the community here where I'm doing business, so I can focus. And then there may be that one-off event, like you mentioned, the party or this or that, but the day-to-day, it's very, very small.
Yeah.
And I'm like you.
You're in the same place. I think this week, 2 days ago, I'd done another podcast recording, and I think I'd asked the man, not a similar question, but something in that line, and I was thinking, because I always try to assess myself and ask, am I odd? Am I the only one thinking like that? Or are people out there thinking like that? Because I was telling him quite recently, I've become very, very intolerable to saying things. And I don't know if it's coming with age, but things I would have just looked over and just walk away. I look and then I assess it well, and I ask myself, why are they doing it? Like, it's not supposed to be like that. And I'm questioning too many things, and I'm asking myself, is there something wrong with you? Does everybody see it the way you see it, or are you making too much out of it and all of that? But from his explanation, he had also said he doesn't think there's anything wrong with me. There are too many things going on in the world today, and people think it's wrong. But that is what we have, and some of us are not used to the things that is going on, so definitely we'll question them, but that's what it is. So I'm happy you said I'm not.
No, you're not at all.
Yeah, why do you think that podcast interviews are a great way to build your brand?
I think that connecting with people in authentic ways is the great way to build a brand. And I'm not a brand strategist at all. That's not my thing. I connect with people who actually want to build relationships and people who believe in what they're doing and want to share it.
Yeah.
So, I love that you asked the question, because some people will come to me and they'll say, get me on all these podcasts so I can be famous. Like, I'm not into fame making. I don't make people famous. I just save you time by helping you connect with people who share the same interests, and y'all have a conversation. And if that builds your brand, then great. But the goal is for you to connect and to share the heartbeat of why you do what you do. That's why I think being on podcasts is a really great opportunity for people to connect and share.
Great. What are some of the common mistakes people make in interviews?
One of the most common mistakes people make is they don't stop talking. Like, the interview is, to your question, it's supposed to be an interview. It's a conversation. It's not a monologue.
Yeah.
And oftentimes people will just go on for 5 to 7 minutes. They want to get it all out. Well, no, just like have a conversation. You would never do that in real life. Just have a conversation and allow the host and you to do this dance and talk.
I agree. I agree.
You've experienced that.
Yes, sometimes. And it throws you off balance. You're wondering, what is he talking about? I'm lost. But we have to come. What is the best way to build authentic relationships in business?
To be grateful and gracious, especially, for example, with the podcast. You're essentially inviting me to your home to have a conversation. So gratitude goes a long way. You didn't have to say yes. You didn't have to respond. And so oftentimes there's a level of entitlement, like, oh, they should want to talk to me, or, oh, I'm very important. It's like, no, there's a lot of people doing cool things. So gratitude is a great way to build authentic relationships. Actually trying to get to know the person beyond the business, because all of us have eclectic and dynamic backgrounds. So try to get to know a person and find commonalities. And then the last piece is ask how you can help. Offer to help someone first, and that allows them to know that you're not there to take, as you were mentioning before, people wanting to take from you. No, offer to help first. That's how you can build relationships.
Exactly. What advice do you have for women leaders?
Oh, Lord. Advice for women leaders. In terms of leadership, you don't have to be perfect. And this is me speaking to myself. You want to be excellent. There's a difference between excellence and perfection. Excellence means you've done what you said you would do with integrity and to the highest level that you possibly can. But that might not be without flaw, because you're going to make mistakes. That's just part of life. So attempt excellence, but understand that you're still going to mess up. And when you mess up, just keep bouncing back.
Sometimes people say that women leaders are very, very tough. A couple of months back, I just finished working with some interns, and all they said was, oh, when we realized you're a woman, we thought it was going to be difficult working with you. You're the loveliest person we could have wished for, that kind of thing. But it's there at the back of people's minds that women, it's not easy to work with women as leaders. I don't know why, but I don't know why that is. But then it tends to look like women tend to be very bossy when they find themselves in leadership roles. And I don't know how that works with working with people, but I can never. I like to work with people in a very friendly environment, and I believe that is how you can get the best out of them. When they come in and they feel too much tension because you're around, that, well, people say it makes them sit up and work better, but they may not be willing to give up their best because they are tensed up and you don't get the best out of them. I don't know if I'm right.
Well, I agree that we have to figure out the way to get the best out of people, but all of us have different personalities. Exactly. I get a sense that you and I are very similar in our approach and in our communication styles. But there are some women who are very different, and so employees and interns have to be able to adapt to who their leader is, and the leader has to be able to adapt in some ways while holding them accountable to who they are. So I think it varies based on personality and experience.
Exactly. At this point, is there anything you'd like to add that we've not touched on? If not, we'd like to take your final message for our listeners as we wrap up.
Final message would be, continue down the path of giving and helping others with whatever your business or passion is, because there are people that need it, and continue to dream really big, and regardless of what you're going after, there's going to be challenges, it's going to be hard times, but just keep bouncing back and stay with it. It definitely play the long game.
Great. I totally agree with you. Would like to say a massive thank you for coming on Podcast with SHEILA today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Great. If you've been listening in, this is season 2, episode 86 of our podcast series, where we bring seasoned guests with inspiring real life experiences and stories to share with us. Do not miss out on all these lovely experiences. Subscribe and be notified when a new episode is released. Whilst at it, please drop us a rating. We have a video presentation of this episode on our YouTube channel. Just search for Podcast with SHEILA on YouTube and you'll find us. Our prayer for you this week is that you will rise above all hindrances and limitations. Together, we will make the world a better place. Until we meet again, have a brilliant week.